So Jody.
All right, follow me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And of the things we think, say, and do, first, is it the truth? Second, is it fair to all concerned? Third, will it build good. And fourth, will it be beneficial to all concerned?
Thank you, Jody. And Patty Hansen, the inspiration for the day or thought for the day.
Okay, I've got a quote from Nina Hoffman, and it says, "If today gets difficult, remember the smell of coffee, the way sunlight bounces off the window, the sound of your favorite person's laugh, the feeling when a song you love comes on, the color of the sky at dusk, and that we are here to take care of each other."
All right, well, thank you. That was nice. Let's welcome all of our guests. We have quite a few today, so let's just start with wherever we are. And I'll bring you the microphone. So if you would introduce your guests, please.
I have a guest with me today. It's John Higgins. John is a former member of the Wednesday Club and a colleague from Grants Pass School District, where I was on the board and he was superintendent. And now we're colleagues on the four-way board. So welcome, John.
So at our table is Mary and Greg Millard, and they are joining the club, but they're not there yet, so they're still guests. Welcome. And they were also very instrumental in the helping get the Hillcrest House up and running for the low-income seniors.
So Patty.
I have my niece, Stacy Branham, with me again today, and her husband, my nephew, just got his license. Well, they just moved here from Carson City, but his license for handyman stuff. He's bonded, insured, and licensed. We like that.
Introduce yourself.
Okay. I'm Renee. I have my application in, but I hope to not be a guest sometime soon.
Very soon, Mike.
I have as my guests my sister, Tamara, and my niece, Kathy, from Sacramento.
I just wanted to introduce Kelly Witters. She's also going to be a new member of our team.
Are you a guest? Would you?
I'm a guest of Doug Walker.
You come in.
I just walked in. Hi. Just what? My name is Quinn. Hi.
Thank you. Hey, welcome all the guests. We must be getting popular. I've never seen this many guests and new faces in one meeting. Okay, how about some announcements? And let me begin. We are going to have a stand-up board meeting after the meeting. We'll keep it brief. I know some of you have to go, but as many as you can, stick around, get a quorum. I need at least eight of you. Don't forget the Rotary Foundation Roundup is on October 21st. In Jacksonville, you can still register. It's from 3 till 7 p.m. and some of us will be volunteering, helping out there. So that's a good thing. It is World Polio Month, and World Polio Day is on October this month, the 24th. If you would like to make a donation, go to My Rotary. There's a Polio Plus Fund. It's quite simple. You can make donations that way. And also we have our Polio Plus jars on the various tables. In fact, they're passing that one around. So don't forget that. And then also we have the cards in the back. If you haven't purchased a card yet, they're $1 each. Oh, they're good. They're done. Thank you. Thank you. Good job. All right. Right on. And then let's see. The mural is coming along, right, Doug? Quite well? All right. And Jody, I know Jody's active on the backpack project. That's coming. You guys are on it. All right, come on up.
Yeah, I wanted to actually fill you in a little bit on where we are with the backpack program so far. As you remember, this year we're going to go from 216 at-risk youth, kindergarten children in Josephine County up to 240. The reasons being based on the sizes of the cases that I order. So that's why we go in those different increments. I kind of wanted to give you a little bit of an update on some of the items that I've already purchased and the prices that we've gotten this year. I'm extremely happy about them. Backpacks, I've already got those ordered and in. They're $3.05 a piece. And as we know, they're nice backpacks. They're 17-inch with padded straps and the whole gamut. The price went down from last year, so I'm really tickled about that. Stuffed animals, I just ordered those, $1.62 a piece, real cute. I went ahead and ordered the same ones that we got last year, the stuffed fish that are really bright and colorful. Knit gloves, 94 cents each. Those are the ones that stretch out, so that the kids, any size, can wear them. And one of the neatest things, because I've had kind of an issue on and off at times with getting socks that I thought were decent. This year, and I think there's supposed to be 3 different sets of colors. I didn't open all the boxes. Socks were only 71 cents a piece. And I mean, they are stretchy, they're nice weight. I'm just tickled. So anyway, that was fabulous. Just to give another information on some of the items that are being donated. DeLynn has been working with a grandma that is with her at the insurance company that is making all of the knit hats. As of over a month ago, she'd already done, I think, 219 hats. So she'll have our 240 hats for us by the time we get to where we're going to do our backpack stuffing. Deb Amin is working, and she's already gotten us toothbrushes for this year and is working to see if we can get the toothpaste from All Care as well. Cindy Grondel from Women's Crisis Support Team is giving us hygiene kits again this year, which are really nice to have. Lutz is working with Dutch Rose to see if we're able to hopefully get some more of the Dutch cards again to be able to put in the backpacks. Laurel Sampson is the one that has been ordering our books for us for years. She really kind of watches and sees when she gets some really good prices and some fabulous books. Not only do we get English language books, but we also get some in Spanish for the Spanish language kids. So that's also nice. Huge shout out to Grocery Outlet. They're donating $1,000 worth of food again to us again this year. So I've given them a list of the items that I'm looking for. And the Josephine County Food Bank is looking at ordering us our peanut butter because we can get a much better price through them than any place else. So now is my plea. I want money. So if you want to be able to donate to the backpack program, again, I learned this from Jan, very, very important that the money goes to Jan for the Road Gateway Rotary Foundation backpack program. That way, if we don't use it this year, we can use it next year. So it kind of keeps it perpetuating, but it has to go to the foundation for those funds to be used in upcoming years if we don't get it all used this year. So making a plea for that, so if you can do it, but that also brings us up to another little fun point. We have a very fun auction item up here that Miss Patty brought in for us that she was able to get from someone, I'm sure. Could be a couple different ways. One, it could be Halloween because it is kind of scary. Second, it could be Christmas because it's in Christmas colors. So you could, yeah, I was going to say, we got creepy Christmas through. So we've got this and we would like to see about auctioning it off today for the backpack program. Did you want to come up, Patty, and help be our little Vanna there? It also comes with, there's a tote in the back. So whoever buys it can put it in the tote. That way it'll keep it nice and neat and it won't be there. But it's actually, I think it looks like it's made out of wood and it's not heavy, but it's very nice. So anyhow, we see this. I'd like to start, and the funds for this will go to the backpack program. So you can help not only get yourself a fun, nice new decoration, but also give us some money. So let's start the bidding at $20. Can I have $20? 25, 25, 30, $30, 35, 35, $40, $100. Oh my goodness. Does anybody want to do 105? I figured not, but hey, it's always worth a shot. Thank you, Margaret. I appreciate that. So if you can make that out to the Road Gateway Foundation or RG Rotary Foundation, that will go to the backpack program. Thank you all so much.
Okay, I apologize. I've got sunglasses on because I didn't bring my reading glasses, so I have prescription sunglasses on. So on your table, we have announcement from the Fork Program project, which is the food for, Debbie, remind me what Fork stood for. Food for Kids, right? Food for Kids, and that's all of our Rotary clubs get together and raise funds and food for different classrooms in the school districts, both school districts. So anyway, they're looking for donations. So please take one of those if you're interested in making a donation. It'll tell you what to do. These little half sheets on your page. And then also the mural that we're painting on the side of the glass forge is going really well, and it's going really fast. I think we're going to cancel the Sunday. We were scheduled to do it on Sunday, but I think we'll cancel it because we're going so well. And then maybe by the end of next week, we might be done with the great majority of the painting. And then we still have to do the three-dimensional pieces on there, but it's really going fast. So thank you, everybody. And so if you want to come out, we'll be out Saturday or next week if you can do it.
Doug, if you can't fix it, nobody can. So there you go. I just want to let everybody know that the Four-Way Community Foundation celebration, annual celebration, is November the 2nd at the Bear Hotel. And it's a wonderful way for us as Rotarians to come and share in celebrating Steve Rowe as this year's award winner, but also to realize that our club has two other award winners from the past, Brenda and Doug. So there are 30 tickets left and only 3 weeks remaining to buy them. So get online, Four-Way Community Foundation, and buy your ticket while you can.
Well, tonight is the Hearth, the Grants Pass Hearth, and there's flyers on the table there. The theme of it is memorable moments with a stranger, and it's at 7 o'clock, Bethany Presbyterian Church. There's 6 storytellers. We did have one storyteller that got ill and was not able to do it, so I agreed to tell a story. And if you're Ross Rowe's child, you know that he never knew a stranger. So when I was always with him, I always picked up somebody. So I've got lots of moments with a stranger and tell about one of those tonight. And the $5 suggested donation is for the Friends of Southern Oregon Hospice, which is Celia's house in Medford, which we had a program on last year. So hope you can attend. Some great stories and music.
I just want to say a quick word about Polio Plus. We kind of skimmed over that a little bit. This is the month that we really crank up the effort. And a lot of us in this club are, I forget the term, but we give $100 every year. We've pledged to do that. And if you'd like to be part of that group, please just let somebody know. And we've been working on this for a lot of years. And at first we thought we were going to do it right away, but the world is a very hard place. And it's hard to get places like Pakistan and Afghanistan to be polio free because there's so much violence and unrest there. So don't forget about polio. Please help. Thanks. I don't know. We're not doing that this year, I don't believe. Yep.
All right. Well, thanks, everybody. Those are great announcements. A lot going on. And now our program for the day. And this is always one of the things that I think most of us, or a lot of us, look forward to, a vocational from one of our members. And I think Deb Amin is going to introduce the speaker.
All right. It is my pleasure to introduce today's, oh, I like the word vocational speaker. Holy man. You know, don't you hate that when the word like, all right. That's because I was on profile yesterday. That's my only excuse. All right. So what I would like to say is that we are very fortunate to have
Leonora decided to move to our community. And she's not been here long, and yet I feel like I've known her forever. That's kind of who she is. She brings to us just a wealth of experience from around the world, and she's a heck of a lot of fun. So without no further ado, Leonora.
Hello, everybody. Now's your chance to know more stuff about me than you ever dreamed you wanted to know. So, misty watercolored memories. This is my childhood. I'm not going to go into great detail because it's scary. But anyhow, as you can see here on your left, this is my parents' idea of a really great joke. So I was brought up, obviously, on champagne, cigarettes, and lots of cake and sleeping. So this is mom and dad here on the right. I was born in Galveston, Texas, raised in Houston, Texas. But the reason I was born in Galveston was I was a C-section and my mom wanted to recuperate at the beach. So she had me at the St. Mary's Hospital and at the Flagship Hotel across the street. So that's where I grew up first. This next slide on the left-hand side is my dearest mommy, and I had been given this little baby chick for Easter. Back then they did that horrible, cruel thing where they dyed baby chickens and they gave them to you in Easter baskets. Well, this is Chicken Little, and he grew up to be a rooster. But the short story is my best friend had a cat, and Chicken Little would follow me around everywhere and wore a diaper. And so one day we're out by the pool and the cat decided he'd had enough of this little chicken, attacked my Chicken Little. And I bring it home to my mother horrified, and she threw him in the trash. But my dad came home later and hears all this pew, 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 pew in the trash can and digs out poor little Chicken Little, lays him on his side and bandages him up and covers him up with his wing. Well, Chicken Little got a heart, he just really enjoyed sleeping like that. So when he grew up to be a rooster, we gave him to a farm. And when we asked how he was doing, they said, well, Mr. Rogers, funny thing is that rooster lays on his side when he sleeps. So all the chickens think he's dead. So none of them are putting out eggs. So poor little Chicken Little with soup. Anyway, this is my mom on the right in her element. She was a bit of a gold digger. She was married 5 times. My father was married 8. I was the only kid either one of them had. So oops. Right there, she's on, I think her second husband's yacht in Miami, South Beach, of course, you know. So, and this is the boarding school I went to. That's Sister Mary Patrick, my favorite nun. She's the one who taught me how to becoming a nun when I grew up. When I was 9, I was convinced I wanted to wear the cloth. And she said, no, Leonora, don't do it. You can have more impact in this world if you're just a good girl and set an example. So I tried to live by that. My first communion, you know, my road to sisterhood. And there I am, water ballet. I think my dad had a thing for Esther Williams. I was going to be like the next Esther Williams, but that didn't last forever. I still enjoy swimming though. Here's the only picture of my graduation day because I was out of there, headed for the beach. And that parking lot is actually where I spent most of my high school career. That's a whole nother story. We don't have time for that one. When I was 15, I volunteered with Amigos de las Americas. They were vaccinating against tuberculosis. That was right after the Peace Corps got in a lot of trouble. So we went down there, and on the left there, I'm actually a godmother. We'd gone into one of these little villages up in the jungle. And the baby was only 7 days old, which she just made the cutoff to get vaccinated. Her mother was so grateful. She was like, will you be my daughter's godmother? And I was like, sure. I was 15, sure. So we met them in Hippie Hoppa the following weekend and at the church. And I have a little goddaughter named Maria Leonora Rodriguez. So, and this is a family I lived with, and that's their home. It was a little fishing village called Puerto Cayo. And it was a great time for me. It really was. They only had one faucet in the middle of the village, and that's where everyone got their water. And once a month, they would kill some sort of livestock and share the meat among everyone in the town. And it's funny because these animals would walk down Main Street every single day, but the day that whoever was going to get offed, they knew. And they would scream and cry and carry on the whole way down the street. It was really kind of sad. But we still ate the meat. Anyhow, I hope I didn't offend any vegetarians out there. Oh, and so I went to school in Spain. When I graduated, I got a scholarship to study abroad. And my studies were interrupted by this gentleman here, and I use that term lightly. I used to show this picture to my children and say, do not do drugs. See what happens when you do drugs. And it worked. This is me with 2 children at the early age of 20, early something, 24, I think. So that's Luna, my oldest daughter, and Edward, my son. So shortly thereafter, I moved back to the States and divorced that man who I never did want to marry to begin with. And that's another story we won't get into. But so now I have 4 children, and this is a particular family vacation. I took them to Guatemala in the 90s. And on our way to the ruins, we got stopped by the militia, and my kids were freaking out. And I was like, oh, they're just kids just like you guys. Don't be afraid. And I leap out of the van and I'm like, hey guys, let's take a picture together. So that's what that explanation is. And they did it. As you can see, they're all really young. And that's my mom's house in Guatemala. It was a little language school bed and breakfast. So I had a daycare in my home when my kids were young because I have 4 children and nobody else wanted to watch them. No. I actually love children. And when I was looking for someone to take care of my children, I spoke to a person at HR and she said, wow, you're really good with kids. And I said, well, I have 4, I better be. And she said, have you ever considered watching other people's children in your home? And I said, no. And she said, well, let me tell you about it. Because you can watch these children and probably make the same amount of money you're making working someplace else, and you get to stay home with your children. I was like, where do I sign up? So I did it for almost 30 years. Loved it. This is the kind of stuff we used to do, swimming lessons. I'd take them to the fire station, the police station. We did something every day. And it was great. My daughter told me one time, she actually counted, I raised 178 children. Yeah, it was great. One of our annual family vacations, we did a lot of camping with 4 kids, as you can imagine. This was a Kerrville Folk Music Festival in Texas. It's an 11-day music festival, and you camp the whole time. And we took our children, and the little girl in the yellow shirt is my daughter who was playing the violin. And when we went, she took her violin along, and the musician showed her how to play the fiddle. So that was great. She doesn't play the violin anymore. Oh, and summer camp, I got to be part of, I was very involved in my church. It was a non-denominational community church. I was part of the women's ministry board and also children's ministry. And there I'm a counselor. We were in charge of the kitchen duty, and I was in charge of all the teenagers, and that was a blast. They wanted to sneak out every night, and I told them, wait, let's take a nap now. And then around 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, when everybody else goes to sleep, we're going to get up and wreak havoc on the camp. We got away with it for 2 weeks. Nobody knew who was doing it. Of course, we all look so sweet and innocent. But we cellophaned all the toilets. We wrote messages on the mirrors. We used to hang up underwear across the camp. But anyhow, we had a great fun. It was memorable times. I was so tired when I got home. I sat in my driveway and cried. Didn't even make it inside the house, but I had the best time ever. Okay, so this is my oldest daughter. I was telling someone the other day, I went on LinkedIn, because even though I'm retired, I'm still a member. And there were all 4 of my children with their profiles on LinkedIn. And I was like, I am so proud. This is like awesome. So this is Luna. And funny thing is, she married a gentleman whose last name is Tolene. So Luna in Spanish means moon. And Tolene in Turkish means moon. So I always joke her that her name is Mary Moon, but she hates that. But anyhow, she started her own business with her husband. It's an event company in Florida, very successful. They've been together and in business for 27 years now. This is the family here on the right. The 3 boys, there's twins, and the oldest boy is Ender. And this is one of the twins who absolutely loves to fish. And they call it the Real, REEL, Fun Tolene Fishing Company. So that's pretty cool. And he fishes all the time. When I had my, that's okay. This is my son, Edward, who came to me when he was 18 and said, Mom, I'm going to be a Navy SEAL. And I was like, really? I'm like, you've just seen one too many Steven Seagal movies, honey. It's not like that. And he's like, no, I'm serious. And I said, it's really hard. And he goes, well, then I want to be a Marine. And I said, as much respect as I have for the Marines, it would break my heart, because we were in war with Afghanistan and all that. And I didn't want to think of him being first man in and killing people. So I said, well, tell you what, if you are serious about this, go into the Air Force. You have to take a test. And if you pass the test, I'll know you're serious. So he did. And he went into logistics, and he was first man in with the Marines. Anyway, so, but he's been very successful. Now he's since then, since that picture was taken, he's now senior vice president of a company that is a government contractor around the world. And that's his wedding picture there. He married a beautiful British woman. And this is my oldest granddaughter, Madeline. They grew up in Oman, in Muscat, Oman, a beautiful, beautiful country. That's Madeline as she got older. And then her older brother, Noah, my oldest grandson, you'll see in a few slides, graduating from high school. And that's Ed and his wife. They've traveled all over the world and very happy. Also married for, I can't even count how many years, 22 years. Okay, this is Valerie. This was my troubled child who came home in kindergarten and said, I know there's no such thing as Santa Claus. It's you and Dad. And I said, oh yeah? Well, I'll show you. I'm going to invite Santa and Mrs. Claus to our house for Christmas. And of course, after she walked out of the room, I'm like, what was I saying? But God in his infinite wisdom had a couple that lived just one neighborhood over that I found out about, Mr. and Mrs. Chabot. And I meet them, and they are Mr. and Mrs. Claus. They do it at the malls and for special events. So I told them what was going on, and I said, I have a daycare and I have this huge Christmas party. And they're like, they love the idea. And I said, we got to convince my daughter that you're the real deal. So I gave him cheat notes. And every time someone sat on his lap, his wife would whisper the name and what they'd done or hadn't done. By the time they were finished, Valerie had run back to her bedroom, scratched out a letter to Santa Claus just in case. Well, these lovely people came to my home for 19 straight years for Christmas parties. They would call me every year when they were doing their schedule and say, when's the party? We don't want to miss it. I mean, the last few years it was between hip surgeries and heart surgeries, but they were there always. And my kids loved it. All the daycare children and my children, even when they were teenagers, would all come to the party, and it was great. It was just a huge fun event. This is my youngest daughter, Melissa. She's a school teacher. These are her children. That picture here on the right, I just love that picture. Just the only reason I put it there was because I just think she's hysterical. Anyhow, her name is Reagan. She's my youngest granddaughter. This is her brother, who's Wyatt, who's 7. And he and my oldest grandson are just the sweetest, most gentle young men that you'll ever meet. And this one here in the middle is Wyatt when he was a baby with the pacifier stuck to his cheek. And every time I seen that picture, I laugh because my daughter sent that to me and it says, hey, Mom, have you seen my pacifier lately? Those are all 7 of my grandkids. And that is Noah, the apple of my eye, my oldest grandson. He is my favorite, but don't tell the others. You're sworn to secrecy. And that's my youngest daughter at his graduation. I just love that picture. Oh, and this was when I was living in Antigua, Guatemala for a while. My mom became ill. And so it was more economical for me to take care of her down in Central America. I could have full-time help and she could stay in her home. And she had dementia. So, one day she would forget how to talk, and then the next day she could talk. One day she'd forget how to walk, and she'd be in a wheelchair. All of a sudden she'd get up and say, I want to help sweep. So it was great to have an extra pair of eyes taking care of her. And the woman who cared for her was just an angel. Well, while I was in Antigua, I was hired by these doctors here because they needed someone who was bilingual, and they are doctors of prosthetics. And we work for the Department of Justice, helping landmine victims around the world. And they would actually go, I was their program manager, and they would travel all over the world. Sometimes I got to go with them as long as it wasn't too dangerous. And we would do training for the doctors there to actually teach them how to properly fit prosthetic devices, because it's not just like a pair of shoes. Every limb that's amputated is different, and the fit is completely different. So there's a lot more to it than people realize. But anyhow, I love that job. We did a lot of work in Peru and Iraq, was mostly the 2 countries we did. Also Costa Rica, Nicaragua, Salvador, Jordan. Those are the ones I remember for now. But anyhow, it was a great time. This is pictures of Antigua, where I live. This is my mom when she was older, my youngest daughter when she was visiting. This is in Antigua, they have Holy Week. And they make these beautiful rugs out of sawdust and flower petals. And when the statues, like they have here in the upper right, and you can't really see, somehow I cut off the picture, but people carry these huge statues through the streets. And they're statues of Jesus, Mary, the Holy Family, and that. And they'll walk through. And as soon as they walk through and it messes up the rug, people sweep it up really quick and they go out and they make another one. And all of Holy Week, they make these beautiful, beautiful carpets in the roads. That was my house. That was my garden there on the left, my pride and joy. But it's a pretty cool place. And in the background there, you see Volcano Agua, which is one of the landmarks in Antigua. You just tell people that's south. So wherever you're going in town, you just look for the volcano. When you see it, that's south. So wherever you're going. It helps. Oh, and one of my interests is theater. I used to do makeup. I've done a little acting. I've helped with the sets and backstage. This was a particular play I did actually when I was living in Antigua. The author is in the middle and the director with his wife. His name is Johnny Long, and he actually wrote this play. It was called Darwin and the Unnecessary Hell He Raised. And the other one was How the Grinch Stole Christmas. So they were great fun and great community theater, kind of like your Barnstormers here. And I love reading, love teaching children to read. And I have gazillions of pictures of my kids reading and other children reading and reading to kids in the park. And there's my great little reading group, book club, that I just adore. Oops, don't lean on this podium. And I love painting. I'll paint anything. Just give me something to paint on and I'm a happy person. I paint faces, I paint furniture, I paint theater sets. Oh, and this guy, he's in everything, isn't he? I mean, who is that man? I paint doors, just anything you need painted, just give me a call. And I love horseback riding. Can't afford a horse here, but that was in Antigua. It was much more economical to have horse in Guatemala. So I used to go riding every day. And that was my favorite horse. His name's Vino, which means wine. And I love traveling. The guy in the middle there is Tommy. He's my partner in crime. And I also love music. And that's actually Tommy's son, who is a professional musician. Love rafting and just love visiting other countries and experiencing other cultures. Bitty, 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 that's all, folks. Any questions? Yes. Well, when I was a young girl, I told you I went to boarding school, and afterwards, when I was 9, I went home to live with my mother. And she, of course, would send me to Guatemala to spend the summers with family down there. So when you spend several summers in Guatemala, you speak Spanish really well. So I was a young child. And I kind of cheated. That's how I got a scholarship to study overseas.
You have a question online. How did you end up in Grants Pass?
Oh, well, my partner in crime, he lived in Antigua when I lived in Antigua, and we became really good friends. I actually met him because a mutual friend of ours brought him to my house for a dinner party. And we were friends for years. He lived in Antigua for 15 years, and so did I. I lived there a little bit longer. And when I left, because after my mother passed away, I moved back to Florida because my 3 daughters lived there. So he would come up and visit me. And then one day he said, you know, I don't really like Florida very much. Would you consider coming to Oregon with me? So I talked to my kids and they were like, oh, Mom, just go have fun. And I did. And here I am. So that's the short story. Yeah. Yes, ma'am. Well, you know, I'm always clowning around, but when my kids were very young, I went to a costume party for Halloween and dressed up like a clown. And then I was like, I've got this awesome clown costume. How can I use it? And I said, I know, I'll dress up like a clown for kids' birthday parties. Well, what could I do? And so I tried the whole balloon thing. I cannot blow up those skinny little balloons. It's awful. If you've ever tried it, you'll die trying. It's horrible. I don't know how people do it. I even tried the pump and I was like, no, doesn't work. So I was like, duh, I paint. So I can be a face painter. And that's how I got started. My kids were really young. I've been face painting now for probably, oh my, almost 40 years. So, long time. Anything else? Oh. Oh, he's an illusion. Yes. Yes. Uh-huh. That. Oh, 1 month. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. He asked how long I was in Ecuador when I was 15. And I was there for 1 month. By the way, I got immediate dysentery when I was there because we were walking one time to this school and they said it was only 5 miles. Well, we walked 5 miles and then we walked 10 miles and then I was really tired and I'm a city girl. I grew up in Houston. I laid down on that jungle floor. I was like, I don't care what happens to me. I drank water out of the stream. I got sick. But anyhow, all's well that ends well. The kids got vaccinated. We made it back safe. But yeah, I was young and stupid, you know. I'm sure we all were at some point. Maybe you guys weren't, but I was.
We need to do a food scanning activity for all of us.
Oh, absolutely, anytime.
What a story. That's pretty amazing. Thank you, Leonora, for sharing with us. It's wonderful. Okay, how about Lutz? What do you got for us?
Well, we do have the recipient of the coveted Dutch Bros card for the best response to the walkie-talkie contest. For those of you that aren't aware of what that was, I suggested that maybe if the person who invented the walkie-talkie invented names for everything else, that we'd have some interesting names. And much better than the last try at a contest. Many of you participated in this. So Debbie Brunell talked about Pooh Bear and honey being sticky licky. Don Welch thinks that a man cave in Barbie Land should be called a Ken Den. Jim Huber came up with 3 of them at various times. A surgeon is a paid blade. Porta potty is a rank tank. A tick is a lime mine. Some of you assumed that that what you needed to do was rename the walkie-talkie, which, you know, that's a side note here. So we had a squeaky speaky, a tacky yacky, a creepy speaky, a wacky yacky. So, you know, those were good. But our winner, the winner of the card, who gave us Stingy Wingy for a yellow jacket, Bitey Flighty for a horse fly, is Jody. Okay, so as I thought about this at about 2 o'clock this morning, I thought, you know, it would be really interesting to see how this would work if nicknames were the result of walkie-talkie kinds of things. So although this is very rapidly done, I made up a few nicknames for people in the Rotary. And so let's see how sharp you are in terms of picking out who they are. Who do you think would be called Mugger Hugger? Patty Toronto. She doesn't just hug, she mugs you when. How about a dealer healer? Dealer healer. Steve Rowe. Okay, good. You guys are on this. How about a money bunny? Money bunny. Jody, it's our money bunny. Italiano paisano. That one's too easy, right? How about a Philly dilly? James Dunn, good, Greg. How about a Dodger Codger? Or possibly Kirk, you know? But good. No, I'm not old enough to be a codger. How about a Survivor Diver? Survivor Diver. He's not here yet, Jim Lefevre. How about a Care Pair? This is a double. Care Pair. Care Pair. You're right, Doug and Bev. Oh, how about a Sunny Risey? Sunny Risey. Dawn, yeah. And how about an Oopsie Daisy? You just heard from her. Remember at the beginning when she talks about it was an oopsie daisy. So that was last minute. Okay, so anyway, thanks for participating in this. The next one that I do is going to be easier. We'll be looking at quantum physics and calculus. And there'll be some great, yeah, Jenny's all on top of that. All right, there are a lot of people here today. I'd like to set a new record for Happy Bucks. So let's get started. Who's got Happy Bucks? Tommy.
I will have whatever amount of money's in my wallet, and it's over $10. And I want to thank Leonora greatly for taking me to 3 parks this morning to help with the homeless people. It really confirmed my commitment to hopefully the structures that are going to get built on half of our property. And these folks are sweet as anything. And we served them coffee, and lots of them had more sugar than I would want in a million years. But boy, oh boy, they were happy. And I really thank you so much. It was just quite terrific.
Looking at anybody in Zoom land? Not yet. Okay, how about out here, Jody?
Hopefully, most of you had signed up for the sweepstakes the Banner Bank was doing for the tiny home. But the part that I'm really excited about, that drawing will actually take place next Monday. But out of 5 monthly winners of $2,500 each, 3 of the winners were from our Southern Oregon division. We have over 150 branches in 4 states. The first one was from Eagle Point. The third one was from Grants Pass. And the 5th one was from Grants Pass. So I am extremely excited. So hopefully you guys entered. So hopefully the grand prize winner is from Grants Pass as well.
Others. You're not going to get rid of me until we get some more.
Are we looking for a record of dollar amount or length of time we can stand up here and talk? Just what are we looking for? I got a couple Happy Bucks from Judy, who's the muralist, the designer of the mural. She's out there, and from myself, because we've butted heads a few times, but we haven't killed each other yet. But we got a week to go. We're still looking for, she's brought a weapon today to the mural, so I don't know what we're going to do to each other.
Anybody else? Jim.
I just want to follow up on something Tommy just said. A few weeks ago, my wife and I, just a couple hours, volunteered at the food bank at Newman Methodist Church. The people we served were the kindest people possibly I've met in my life. They were so polite. And by the end of the day, I had been told, thank you and bless you more than ever. So just a shout out to Tommy and Leonora, what you're all doing. And yeah, be kind to your neighbor, because we need it. We all need it.
Thanks.
I have Happy Bucks. I just came back from the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. And I got a chance to be at Lake Superior, climb Sugarloaf and stand in that wind as the gale winds were blowing on the lake. And I'll tell you what, you wonder if there's such a thing as a higher power. That works every time. So that was a really cool thing to do. This Saturday, we are going to be over at the football field for the competition for the Grants Pass marching band. They took first place in Salem a couple weeks ago, and they will be in this competition again this weekend. They are marvelous. If you could get a chance and you want to go and have something to do in the middle of watching the solar eclipse, I would recommend the football field, Grants Pass High School.
I've got a couple happy bucks because I had a great weekend this last weekend. On Saturday, I went out to Williams to the grand opening of the new library branch at Williams. If you guys have ever have an opportunity to drive out there, if you're headed out for a winery or something, stop by the library and check it out. It is so magical. I mean, it's just this tiny, cute little library. It's absolutely incredible what that community came together to build. And it's just absolutely amazing. And that was a lot of fun. A huge turnout from the local community and folks from Grants Pass who went out to see it. So that was fun. And then Sunday, I painted on the mural, and that was a lot of fun too. So it was just a really, really great weekend.
Great. Got Doug double dipping here.
I have some more happy bucks. My daughter is buying a house for the first time up in the Portland area. Yeah. And it's, the fun part, we're proud of her and everything for saving money and doing this and wanting to do it, being so dedicated about it, but also to have her call us and struggle through the different things and be sort of adulting and everything. It's like, what's this insurance for? And why do I need this? And what's this about? And all that. It's really fun to get those phone calls and explain it to her and see her kind of struggle through it and learn and everything.
Great. Patty.
I have a couple of bucks just to thank everybody here that I don't have to fight to get a hug. Thank you very much.
Anybody else? Anybody up top? Zoomers? No?
Well, so Tuesday was a very busy day for me. I was able to take my granddaughter to Two Vale Park in Central Point, and they have a fabulous program for the life cycle of a salmon. They've got these carved out these little pools that kids can wade in to collect macro invertebrates and, study in what's in the pond kind of stuff, and do some microscientist testing to see what the acidity of the water is and the temperature of the air and the temperature of the water. And then this woman had full dissections of female and male salmon. Here's the digestive system, here's the water or the air bladder and stuff. I've seen a few cleanings of salmon in my life, but I've never seen them in that detail before. And I've hiked through the riparian zone and all kinds of stuff. So that was really fun. And then I made it back into Grants Pass in time for a strategic planning committee and then a board meeting. And I want to thank John Higgins, who's here as a guest, who helped me craft a response to for the board to consider, kind of as a minority report. But I want to assure people that while there are differences of opinion, there is a commonality of hope and wanting what is very best for the children on the board. And everyone is respectful, even to minority reports. And we're all trying to do our very best for the district's children.
Yeah, way to skip to your guns, Debbie.
I just want to throw in 5 happy bucks to thank you, Debbie, for the many, many years that you have done so much for School District 7. We love your passion.
Thank you. And hearing Debbie speak reminded me that I have some happy bucks. I put $5. I put mine in the polio jar. So I challenge other people to do that as well. And the reason was that Debbie and Bob's son, Tom, was in our house yesterday. And those of you who know that they are electricians know that that means that we had some kind of electrical problem that Tom fixed for us. In fact, he put on the crowning touches of an entirely new HVAC system. After our trip to Europe, we came back to find out that our air conditioner had been running for the whole time that we were gone. So not only was were our utility bills up there, we needed a new system. So Rogue Valley Heating and Air put it in, and they recommended, they always work with Tom. And so Tom put in the final plug. Yes, can do that.
Got some happy bucks. I just want to do one quick segue story off of Greg's Brownell electricity story, because her son Tom came to my home last spring when our pool light went out. And this is an old pool with a buried conduit line that it took an act of God for them to even get the old light out of the pool. But the picture will never leave my mind of he and his colleague, both in their swimming suits with the pool down a level, their feet propped up against the wall with their full body weight trying to pull that electrical cord. Talk about above and beyond the call of duty. But the other point I want to make, to reiterate and to echo what Don Welsh has said, is that yes, I did weigh in on the shall versus we debate that was going on with the school board. As you know, there were elections recently and there are different opinions about issues. And I believe that a healthy discourse on both sides of an issue, particularly those that affect children so much in what they do day to day in schools, is so important. And so if I had to award a profile in courage this month, Debbie took my spot on the school board. I don't know how many years ago that was when I went into administration for the first time, but as I watched her via Zoom up there stating her case and at least introducing a counterpoint to the majority's view on this particular issue, I can't tell you how proud I was of my friend and former board member, Debbie Brownell. Thank you.
Okay, we're on a roll now. Yep. Anybody else? You wait until I walk all the way to the other end, Leonora.
Well, I have happy bucks. One for Tommy's participating in our park project with Dr. Murray and his wife, Carrie Brown, and all the people that come out there. And I wanted to make an announcement. Well, one, thank you, Tommy. And it was great. Everything went really well. But just to let you know, if anybody would like to help, they're at a point now where they can have people come and help. You can either make coffee if you don't want to actually go to the park and serve it. You can donate old telephones, clothing, anything like that that you may have. What did I say? Telephones. Well, I don't know, but maybe those will work too. Yes, cell phones. Thank you. And we can make sure we can help you wipe them clean if you need to. But there's such a good group of people out there, and both the people who are receiving as well as the people who are donating to them. And it is really a great experience. If you'd like to help, just we can create a sign-up sheet, or you can get in touch with me or Don Welch, who has been very good at helping me organize a sign-up crew. But thank you, and thank you for today, and thank you for not throwing tomatoes earlier.
All right, we ready to draw a card? Let's see, what do we need? We need the King of Spades. It is the 4 of clubs. Hey, all right. All right, back to you, Jimbo.
All right, Lutz, well done as usual. I don't know. Leonora, thank you again. That was great. Don't forget, we have a stand-up board meeting afterwards, right there at that table. And I have a quotation. Remember A.A. Milne, the author of Winnie the Pooh? I found this quote, and it's funny, you find these quotes and sometimes they just seem, by happenstance, they seem so appropriate to what happened at this meeting. Anyway, this kind of reminds me of all of us. It says, "You're braver than you believe, you're stronger than you seem, and smarter than you think." So thanks, everybody.